Well, hello, class. I'm here in London. I'm actually in Brighton, and it's on the English Channel. So our hotel is actually looking over the English Channel. It's kind of a cloudy day here today. Yesterday and the day before, they were actually having a heat wave, and it was amazing out there. We had time on the beach, but you'd be surprised here. There is no sand. Um, there are rocks as big as your fist, and it's like gravel. I'm not kidding. It's unlike anything we've seen in California, and it's all the way down to the water. I had to go in, and I took my shoes off and walked in, and it killed me. And it's cold, and even though the weather was in the 80s out, the water's freezing. So anyway, this is great. I'm able to upload this here from London, England. We've had a great time seeing the sights, the castles, the Churchill War Rooms, which is great. If you haven't seen it, you need to. But anyway, I want to kind of recap what we've been talking about with stress in your job in coaching, or whether it be as a fitness instructor or a physical education teacher. And I'm just going to kind of go over some of the things that you mentioned, that a lot of you mentioned, as far as coaching, for example, fundraising, administrative support, parents, that was a big one, facilities, budget, paperwork, scheduling, the philosophy of your athletic program, um, sharing athletes, scouting, and grades. And um, I'm going to just touch on each one of those real quickly. But fundraising is definitely a stressor. It's something that, as a coach, I never liked. It's a necessary evil now because we don't get much money. I mean, as an athletic director, I get $11,500 in a high school setting, and I have 41 levels of sport to deal with. So you do the math on that, and then you also add in chalk and paint and office supplies and computers. It goes quick. So you have to have other ways of fundraising, and I'm not going to go into that, but it definitely is a stressor. And a couple of you mentioned some ways that you could alleviate that is by getting an assistant coach and delegating that to them, or a parent. And that is definitely a great way to do it. Administrative support, and that could be a big stressor. And as an athletic director and a coach, I know I want my athletic director and my principal and assistant principal to support me. And what does that look like? Well, that looks like if I need my facility, if I need it fixed, if it's a gym, if it's a pool, I need that support. I need support when I go into a parent meeting. I want to know that they're supporting me, they have my back. So, yes, that is definitely a concern. Parents, yes. High school, yes. It's a necessary part of the job, and you have to deal with parents. And a great DVD that you should all probably get and look at, it's called The Role of Parents, and it's by Bruce Brown. And if you can look that up on Amazon and purchase that DVD, that helped me more than anything. And in my admin classes, when I was face to face, I used to show that. I can't do it now because it's copyrighted, and they won't give you permission without purchasing it. And that is a great thing to look at. And I would show it to your parents. I would definitely show it to your coaches. If you're an AD, if you're a head coach, show it to your assistants. It's helped me tremendously as a parent, as a coach, as an athletic director. So anyway, parents are a big thing. And again, your admin can definitely support you in that. Facilities, I think, Becky, you mentioned about pool time, and it's a constant thing. Facilities are a problem, especially now with in high school with the association rule going away. There's an overlap of everything all the time, so that means you can practice year round. Well, facilities are a problem, so we have to handle that, and that's where you also need administrative support. Your AD's got to get involved, and that's it's tough. It's not easy to do, but that is a problem. Budget, we all know that. We have to fundraise, we have to supplement, and we don't get a lot of money in equipment and PE. There's not a whole lot of money, and for equipment in PE, it's expensive and it breaks because they're using it so much every day, and you've got 5 classes that are possibly using this, and that's just in one teacher. So that is a concern. That could be a stressful situation. Paperwork. Oh yeah. I think Aiden, you mentioned paperwork in special ed. Oh my gosh, yes, in coaching, um, paperwork, scouting. I can't remember who mentioned that, but scouting is a big thing too in high school sports because if you want to have a family, you can't be gone all the time because you're gone when you're practicing, you're gone when you're playing, and then you're going to be gone when someone else is playing to scout them. That could be a problem. So you have to delegate and put parameters. We're going to talk a little bit about that around what you're doing. Otherwise, it's going to affect your family and it'll affect you too. And Becky, you mentioned grades and that is a stressful thing. And this past year and all my years of coaching, this was probably the toughest one with grades. We as a staff worked really hard to keep our kids eligible. And we did that with, we have this new way of checking online. It's in real time, their grades. So every day we would talk to them about, hey, you're missing this assignment, you're missing that, this is coming due. Letting each kid know that we know exactly where you are and what you're doing. And it was a battle with some kids. It was really hard, even them knowing we knew. And we'd push them, and we'd offer study hall and extra time, and it was tough. So yes, that's stressful too. And then gosh, I'm trying to think who it was. Angela, yes, you mentioned having a 6-week-old baby. Oh my gosh, I can remember having our kids when they were small. It was so difficult to coach and teach and to do the things that we just do in life. And yeah, it is tough, but I can tell you this, it gets easier. So hang in there, battle one day at a time. And like some of you mentioned in your in the tail end of your assignment here. I'm trying to think of my notes, but you mentioned taking one day at a time. Yes, you have to. Otherwise, it just overwhelms you. And to have a baby that's 6 months old, my gosh, I feel for you. You're doing a great job. You hang in there. Some of the things that we can do to relieve the stress, and I mentioned putting parameters around what we do. Don't take it home with you. Put parameters around it. I mean, I had to learn that early on because I like to do a lot. I like to be successful, and to do that, you have to put time in. I understand that, but put parameters around it. Don't bring work home. Finish it, let it go. And emotionally, that's tough. You got to shift gears, and so think about that. Think about what I'm saying here. And even with technology now, I have to put parameters around it. I have to say, okay, for this amount of time, I'm going to work on this, and then I'm going to stop because this can be all-consuming. I mean, I'm in London on not really a vacation. I'm here with my wife. She's presenting, and I'm kind of tagging along. But I still have to put parameters around it because there are things we want to do as a couple, as a family. And so don't, put strict parameters around it. It's kind of like office hours. So keep that in mind. That has helped me more than anything. And, a couple of you mentioned this, surrounding yourself with good people. I brought that up last time I spoke too. Delegate. Ask for help. You can't do it all. Don't try to do it all because that'll hurt you. Take time away, exercise. We are all physical educators in some area. We have to practice what we preach. That is a great stress reliever. Just take time to get out and do things. Joshua, you mentioned being prepared. Preparation limits stress as well. Work on the front end, not the back end. Just like in your classes, like what you're doing now. Don't wait till the end, because if you do, you're going to feel pressure. That's stress. And that's what I tell our kids. As soon as you get your assignment, start working on it. Don't wait, because you never know what's going to happen in the middle here. Work on the front end, not the tail end, and that'll help you relieve stress. Be organized. Um, Becky mentioned, a support system. Ask for help. Delegate. Charles, you made I think, a key thing here. You look at it as a ministry, and that's kind of what I've done too. I remember my father-in-law telling my wife, that's Joe's ministry out there. I never thought of it that way, but once I started thinking of it that way, it was like a good thing. It wasn't a stressful situation anymore. I was helping kids, and I always knew that, but it just put it into perspective for me. So I thought that was a neat thing that you mentioned there. Um, so many of you had some great ideas and things. And Sheehan, you mentioned you might be wanting to become an athletic director, and maybe a stressful situation might be dealing with personnel coaches. Oh yeah, it's not the kids that drive you crazy. Sometimes it's the adults. A lot of the times, kids you can understand. Sometimes I can't understand the things that adults do. But keep it in perspective, take it one day at a time. And I think you guys are all basically on the right road. Um, I love what you guys are doing. Just remember, turn that volume up a little bit, and when you're making your videos. And just on the journaling, I uploaded a sample of APA. Take a look at it. It's just a sample, but and I'm not grading you down on it, but for your capstone project, you probably will be. So it's good to practice now. If you want to put a title page on, great. It's good practice. All of it is. And I always keep, like I said, an APA book right by my desk, and I reference that all the time. I have tabs on it, so I know right where to go when I need to look something up. Check it out. And just stay up on the work. If you have any problems with it, I know this is an intensive class. It's shortened. Send me an email. I get the emails here in London, so it's pretty cool. Anyway, thank you for listening to me. God bless you guys. I just wish you the best, and don't stress. Okay, and Becky, don't pull your hair out. Okay, take care.